And this is what we're talking about here today. Okay, the cancer protocol using Spooky2. So from the top, I'm going to have to tell you straight out that I am not in any way at all a doctor, nor am I a healthcare practitioner, nor am I someone who has cancer to the best of my knowledge, nor am I treating myself for cancer. So why am I someone who's been chosen to speak about this stuff? Because I use Spooky2 every single day, and I found it very beneficial for yeast, mold, Candida albicans, and the co-infections to go along with all of these things, plus a few other issues I've had. And I've been very experimental in using it, which means that I've discovered that for what I'm using it for is essentially beneficial. Sure, I'm still doing other things with diet, nutrition, supplementation, but the fact of the matter is I've discovered that there is benefit to using this. So therefore there will be benefit to doing it for cancer. Okay? So what we're going on about here, you'll notice the phases of the cancer protocol on your screen right now has been repeated twice. That's just an error, okay? Probably on my part, okay? So from the top, what is the cancer protocol? The phases of the cancer protocol, the methods of delivery, and I will show you a live demonstration of editing the presets, which sounds really complicated and really kind of like, oh no, I can't handle it, but you will be able to handle it because I'm going to make life a lot easier for you, just through showing how it's done. Okay, because you may have read the information that's come with the software, but that may not have been very clear for you. But it is there to, for you to use for your benefit, and I would recommend you go back to it. And we'll be referring to the various page numbers of the protocol as well, so you'll be able to work out where to go to get the information, which I may have made clearer for you, but needs clarifying even further as a result of you reading stuff. So what actually is the cancer protocol? Firstly, it's a protocol, okay? The thinking has already been done for you. The research has been done for you. It's been put into a formula. You just go through the formula, okay? It's a cancer protocol to treat cancers. And you can customize the protocol to treat specific cancer. Breast, prostate, liver, okay? Just because there's extra things you can add to it in order to target the problem. So it incorporates your general biofeedback scan and one specific to the cancer itself, okay? As well as an extra frequency set for the problem. Okay, where is it? Now there's two which is mentioned in the software, and the one we're looking at today is called DB. Okay, Cancer DB. That's its location. It's in the cancer folder, and it's protocol DB. And there's also the README PDF, which is included in the software. If you've downloaded the software, you've got the PDF there, and that PDF refer back to it in a relaxed, objective way, and it will give you plenty of information. Now, this is where it gets interesting. What are the methods of delivery? Plasma, scalar, and contact. You will notice that remote is not mentioned in that list. Now, remote is used, but it's not being defined as a method of delivery, because we're using it for detox maintenance, we're using it for support, and to add an extra bit of help for you when you're going through the process. But your main methods of delivery is plasma, scalar, and contact. Now with Spooky2, we tend to use the word plus rather a lot, don't we? Plasma plus, scalar plus, contact plus 4, and contact plus 2. Let's try and break it down. There's a protocol for plasma, there's a protocol for scalar, there's a protocol for contact with 4 generators, which could be 4 XM generators if you're on a lower budget. Okay, or indeed just a 2 generator system. which you could do with one generator X, if you have generator X, which I personally prefer to use myself. Now, the phases, the stages you go through, starts off with terrain. Now, the word terrain is essentially used to mean landscape, namely the landscape of your body, your organs of elimination, and getting the body ready for more killing. There is a terrain protocol in the detox folder, and if you've already done that, then you can skip the terrain phase, which is included in the cancer protocol. And you can go straight to the part which deals with the treatment, okay, the target. The terrain phase helps to clean up the landscape of the body to make all forms of rifing much more effective. So even if you're not treating for cancer, you're trying to treat for other things, then do a terrain. It sets the stage for more killing and more healing. It's quite short. Okay? So it's 10 days for plasma or scalar, 15 days for contact, and then of course there's the remote method, which you're probably familiar with, which is 11 days. If you want to have a more effective terrain, you go for contact or plasma, in my humble opinion, based upon my limited experience. I mean, the remote method is okay, 11 days, but I'd rather do a 15-day, 16-day contact because it's powerful. Now, thinking about the text, which is in the software, there are various pages which tell you the terrain order. Okay, the PDF is like a recipe book. It tells you what sets to run and when and for how long. So the plasma terrain is on page 44. Scalar is on page 48. Contact 4 is on page 51 for its terrain. And contact 2 is on page 55 for its terrain. Now we're going to explain how the table, what the table itself actually means. And we have a snippet from the terrain for plasma here. Have a look. You've got columns and you've got a row. On the left-hand side, you've got x2. That means times 2. That means 2 days or 2 nights. You got the P01 next to it. That means plasma 01. Plasma, the first frequency set, essentially, on the terrain for this part of the protocol. You'll notice in the remarks section, it says near field only, and that's because you're dealing with a very complicated illness. SC stands for Spooky Central, which is the plasma device which has the extra add-ons of contact on the Spooky Central as well as ultrasonic. And if you're blending the plasma plus the contact plus the ultrasonic coming out of Spooky Central, which is the plasma unit, you get more power. And near fields means you try and keep your plasma device, the tube or the phanatron, close to the area which is being treated, because then you get the near field effects and the healing power will be quicker, will be more effective. Then to the right of that, it says generator 1. Now, it might seem a bit difficult to understand because it's not the first generator. The first generator is essentially the one that's running your Spooky Central, your plasma running, which has the generator running P01. Then you've got another generator, which in this particular table is called generator 1. That's just the second generator. And that's running a remote because it's got the letter R. And that's 01. So it's essentially the same frequency set, but it's got the settings adjusted for remote. Are you with me so far? Then you've got generator 2, which has R01 again. But that's the third generator. So we've got a 3-generator system going here. One that's running your Spooky Central, one that's running generator 1 and one that's running generator 2. So you've got a plasma set, you've got the remote sets, and you're doing it for 2 nights. Okay. So now we got a different example so that you can understand this. Okay. On the left-hand side, first it says run times 3. So that's for 3 nights. Then you've got generator 1, which has C01, which means contact 01, the first frequency set for the terrain of contact. And then in blue, beneath it, it says R01. Now, the rationale for that is that during the night, you're going to be running the metals and chemicals past the terrain. During the day, when you're at work and having arguments with the boss or going shopping and meeting with your family, you'll run the remote version on generator 1. Generator 2, we've got, again, 2 different figures there. You've got R01 and M01. Okay, so that's 1 for the remote and 1 for the coil. In this case, you will be running the coil at night. Okay, when you're in bed, receiving your Rife therapy. Generator 3, again, remote 01. And generator 4, again, remote 01. And it tells you when to start it. Start generator 3, 5 minutes after generator 2. Start generator 4, 5 minutes after generator 3. I don't think you have to get it precisely to the second. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, I don't want you to get like fearful in your audit because you left it to 5 minutes and 4 seconds or something crazy like that, or only 4 minutes and 25 seconds. We're just staggering it to give your body more power. Once you've done terrain, you can then get onto the target phase, the cancer phase, the bit which is actually, the fun bit, the bit which will treat the problem. And this phase consists of 4 steps, 3 of which include your 2 biofeedback scan results and specific cancer programs. Now, we do have videos out there right now with Echo and all the team demonstrating how to do a biofeedback scan, whether it's with Generator X, whether it's with the wonders of the XM generator and Spooky Pulse, or whether it's with the sample digitizer. And you can literally Google for them, or you can go to spooky2videos.com. That's spooky2videos.com. Okay? The biofeedback scan results include a general system scan and a specific scan for the cancer. There are also 2 extra presets for detox, body healing, Herxheimer reactions, and pain. So those are there for you to use, and you need to use your common sense as to what your body is going through so you can make the right decision to use the right frequency sets. Okay? Are you having a bad Herxheimer reaction? Then okay, stop for a while, run Herxheimer reaction, or indeed maybe run that on an extra generator. There is a rationale to have a few extra generators lying around and connected to your laptop so that you can run more in terms of like Herxheimer reaction sets if you're getting a bad reaction. So how long does the protocol itself take? The terrain itself, 10 to 15 days, not long. The cancer phase takes 14 days on plasma and Scalar, and 21 to 25 days on contact. This is where we get onto the reality check, because Spooky2 is not this massive, big, red, invisible button somewhere on the internet that you can press and all your problems go away. Okay? You carry on repeating this target phase, this cancer phase, until the problem's gone. This may take months or years. Now, I have seen reports of some people get like completely healed in 8 weeks. But I've also seen people take longer. Okay, my personal, opinion is you should always do what your doctor says and carry on doing what your doctor says, as well as doing anything else from a healthy way of living to try and help yourself out. But before you start your cancer phase, get your biofeedbacks together, your general system biofeedback, your cancer biofeedback, and search the database for cancer-specific frequency sets. And here it shows you the page where you can find information on that in the DV protocol. Page 5, page 13, and page 12. What is interesting is that the biofeedback sets and the biofeedback methods in the software is not actually in the cancer folder. Okay? It's not actually in the cancer folder. It's in the normal part of the software which deals with biofeedback. And here we have the address for where you would get the stuff for Spooky Pulse biofeedback, which is for the XM generator, and Generator X, Scalar digitizer, which is again a Generator X thing, and Sample digitizer. If you're using Scalar, you'll be running it off Generator X. Okay, so you'll have to have Generator X to be able to do the Scalar digitizer scan. Same with Sample digitizer. As it says here, with the pulse, you scan with TENS pads, right wrist, left ankle. That's actually quite a powerful treatment in its own right. I've had a big Herxheimer reaction the first time I did a scan using Spooky Pulse and an XM generator. With Generator X, for a general scan, left and right side of the abdomen beneath your ribs. If it's a more specific thing for your cancer, then it's going to be either side of your lump, where the problem is. If it's a skin cancer, either side of the problem on your skin. Okay? If it's breast cancer, either side of the problem. So on and so forth. But with Sample digitizer, you're only getting biofeedback based upon the sample. So it's only if you're actually getting fluid from the cancer, the Sample digitizer would be useful. In some cases, that is the case. In other cases, it won't be. So most people will be using Spooky Pulse, Generator X, and Scalar. Or Scalar, I should say. So with Spooky Pulse, again, you have the TENS pads, right wrist, left ankle for a cancer-specific scan. But you're using a cancer-specific scan method in order to find the frequency for the problem. As I said, Generator X, you place your TENS pads either side of the cancer itself. With Sample digitizer, you must use a sample which contains the cancer cells so that you can then target the actual problem. How often to do biofeedback? It's a big question. With Generator X, every 3 to 4 days, because you want to try and get, the accuracy and the precision for what's going on in your body at that time. Spooky Pulse once a week, and a Spooky Pulse scan can take some time, so you probably will want to do it once a week rather than twice a week, because we've all got busy lives. Okay, so this is the fun bit when I'm going to get out my software and show you how to edit some presets. And I'm going to demonstrate to you something which sounds very complicated, and I'm hopefully going to make it simpler for you. As you can see, I'm using Generator X. At the moment, the biofeedback thing is, it's sensing that there's some interference around. That's why the graph is going up and down. Ignore that for now. Okay. So now we're doing a demonstration of incorporating sets and scans into the cancer program. So I've clicked on cancer. So now we have the list. So I'll do that again so you can see it. Cancer is there, okay? So this is a list of all the stuff in the cancer folder. We're going to go on to DB, just by way of example, okay? Because you can do the same thing for remotes and plasma and Scalar. So I'm just going to show it to you on contact for the heck of it. Let's say we're up to C06, because everything from 1 to 5 is terrain. C06, 07, 08, that's essentially the most important part of the cancer thing. Okay, so let's say we're on C06. Once I've selected that, I can then click on programs. And all of the frequencies that was in that chain has now appeared in the box in loaded programs. This is cool, okay? This is really rather good, because now we can put things in and take things out prior to running it. So let's say for a start off, I'm concerned I've got liver cancer. You know, I've been told I've got liver cancer. Let's just say. So I'm going to do a program search for liver cancer. There we go. There's a 30-minute liver cancer set. Double click. It appears down below there. Okay, but I'm also going to need 2 biofeedbacks, which I can search for, whoops, through typing in BFB. Now, I don't use this computer for most of my writing. I, in fact, use another one. So I'm just going to choose 2 BFBs, biofeedbacks at random. Okay? Double click on that one. And double click on that one. Just for the heck of it. Okay, there's just 2 biofeedbacks I've done. But what you will have done, is as well as including a frequency set for your cancer type, which you would have searched for just like I've done here and double clicked on it. You would have also included your cancer scan results, which I've highlighted in blue here, and your own general scan results. Now, these 3 sets here, these aren't real sets, they're placeholders. Because it's telling us that that's where we want to put our sets in. So let's say if I was to click onto liver cancer, I can then use the blue arrow to put it there. And I can remove the placeholder, which says your cancer type, through double clicking on it. It's now gone. Now let's say this one here was my cancer scan results. I can then use the blue arrows to put it in place. And I can remove the placeholder. Okay, does that make sense? And finally, my last scan, do the same thing. Use the blue arrows, put it in place. Remove the placeholder, and then you can run it. At the bottom of the screen here, it says estimated total run time, 6 hours, 10 minutes. So you can do that overnight. And that's how you edit the preset. So I can then just click on settings, and if I want to add a harmonic wobble, I could. Maybe remove ramping, then go into control. As usual, click override generator, select the generator you're using, and then you're ready to go. So all you then need to do is to put your TENS pads on the body and click on the start button. That's how presets are edited. That was a live demonstration. So which presets need to be edited? 6, 7, and 8. The same procedure needs to be done on the main method of delivery as well as on the remote. Because if you remember what I showed you before, you're running, let's say, your contacts overnight, but the same frequency sets equivalent in remotes, you'll then run during the day. Okay? So before you set the remote one running, you'll do the preset editing thing I've just shown you. And before you go to bed at night, you'll do the preset editing thing I've just shown you. It only takes a few clicks, less time than it takes to boil enough water for a cup of tea. Okay? Cheers. Now, if you're doing it on plasma, and you're doing 6, 7, and 8, this is what we got. On the left-hand side here, SC stands for Spooky Central. Near field, far field, day or night as desired. If you've got a serious problem, you're going to want to do near field, aren't you? It makes sense. So you've got your 2 biofeedback scans plus your relevant frequency set for your condition. Contact and ultrasonic for near field only, that's what it's recommending. And then remotes. And on generator 2, which is of course your 3rd generator, all detox are DB, run non-stop until protocol is done. And the purpose of that is to carry on getting your body to carry on getting rid of some toxicity. On the left-hand side, you can see X4 times 4. That's 4 nights and 4 days. So that's 1 4 is 4, 2 4 is 8, 3 4 is 12 days plus an extra 2, 12, 13, 14 days in order to complete it. And this is found on page 34 of the Cancer Protocol documentation, the PDF, which is within the software, which you can get when you download it. Okay, Scalar, very similar to plasma in its execution. We got the letter S, signifying it's scalar. It tells you the frequency set number, 06. You can treat the PDF as a recipe book, which tells you which particular frequency sets that you can add into it over what time period. You got your generator 1 and generator 2. So you got one generator, your generator X, running your spooky scalar. And then you got one, maybe an XM generator running generator 1, and another XM generator running generator 2. So the equipment that you need is 1 generator X, 2 XM generators with remotes, and of course the scalar unit. Now with contact 4, that's when you're doing contact mode and you've got 3 other generators running remote programs. This is what it looks like. Okay, remember you're adding your biofeedback scans, you're doing the preset editing as I've shown you. On the left-hand side, I don't know whether you can see my mouse pointer there, it's 6 days on each stage. 1, 6, 6, 2, 12, 18, then 19, 20, 21 days to get through the treatment, the actual target treatment phase of the cancer protocol. CO6 during the night when you're in bed, and RO6 during the day when you're at work, dealing with this, that, and the other. Okay, generator 2, RO6 during the day, remote 06, and then the coil's version of 06 at night with the coil in a relevant place on your cancer with the BN or bio north against the problem. Okay, generator 3, remote 06, okay, run continually during this time. Generator 4 or detox, run continually during this time. Does that make sense? Okay, the thinking's been done for you, the chart is there for you. I know if you've got like a bit of brain fog going on, which I've had with my health issues, it can be difficult, but this is a protocol, it's written there for you to understand, and I hope this is making it a bit clearer. Now, when you've only got 2 XM generators, you can still do this. And 2 XM generators is, in fact, relatively affordable. All right? I mean, you can, if you put aside £2 a day every day for a year, you've got more money than you need to get yourself, much more money than you need to get yourself 1 XM generator with remote units and one of the XM portable kits. But it's pretty much the same. But it's 7 days. Because you've got less equipment, you're using a weaker method, you're using contact, you're not using plasma or getting in there with Scalar. Okay, so it's 7 days to get through CO6, CO7, and CO8. 1 to 7, 2 7 to 14, 3 7 to 21, plus 4 days of overnight contacts. Okay, does that make sense? And on generator 2, you're just running detox continually during this time. It is worthwhile, if you've got extra generators and extra remotes, to have them at hand. Yes, running all detox we've already mentioned. You can also have the extra generator to run things like heximosets, or indeed the remote cancer general DNA, or the cancer comprehensive DNA as well. This is just extra beneficial stuff. So think about that. Think about whether you need an extra generator, or if you can't budget for it, don't worry about that. Stick to the protocol to the most part, but have extra generators if you can. Right, and now we come to the fun part, because before I'll open things up so as I can listen to your questions and try and answer them. I've been given a few other things to answer. And so we'll share that. Okay, the first question I was given prior to starting today was, I'm reading the cancer protocol in preparation for the webinar. It says for a cancer biofeedback scan to place the TENS pads around the tumor close together. Well, my stage 4 breast cancer lesions are all throughout my bones, mainly my clavicle bones, all up and down my spine and over my hip bones. Where would be the best placement for a good, accurate cancer BFB scan? That's very difficult to say. Now, you can either choose to use generator X and try and find the worst parts of the body and try and scan on that. Or alternatively, you can try and incorporate the whole body and go back to using an XM generator, which you can use the pulse scan unit with. Or you could do pulse scanning, I believe, although I haven't tried it, with generator X as well. So it might be worthwhile ordering a pulse unit, which is relatively cheap, in order to try and help you to do a whole body biofeedback scan. Question number 2. I usually use my plasma long tube overnight running a cancer preset while sleeping. Can the cancer biofeedback scan results be run overnight on the plasma and then on remote during the day? Yes, we've covered that. Because you're incorporating that in all the rest, in your other sets, using the preset editing method, which I've shown you and demonstrated. And then you can run the whole thing on remote during the day when you're not receiving it on plasma. That is recommended. That is part of the protocol. That's okay. Question number 3. Instead of going through the protocol, would it be effective to treat cancer by just running cancer biofeedback scans and then running them again on plasma overnight and remote during the day by themselves? I think that opens up a can of worms in terms of the question, because the other aspects of the protocol and the other frequency sets which are there for a purpose. Now, you can try and do it without, but if you're dealing with cancer, which could possibly get worse, I personally would be more inclined to follow the protocol as far as you can. It's being created for you, and it's worthwhile doing them. But how often between cancer scans? Well, in general, if you're using the XM pulse method, once a week. if you're using generator X every 3 or 4 days. And then to stick to that structure and fit that into your life, or indeed fit your life around it. Because that's essentially what's been laid down for us by people who've, put this to the test. So that's what I personally would suggest. Now, I'm not a 100% expert in cancer, so I can't say that my answer is 100% what you require. I don't know, and your body may react differently. But that's what I think, taking into account what little I know about the cancer method. Question number 4. I read in the cancer protocol that one can turn on the plasma unit and run it all day, and if I'm in the next room, far field would probably still reach me. Yes, I understand that is accurate, but it is far field and therefore nowhere near as powerful as being close to. I also read that you can place a DNA sample tape under the plasma tube, and then you would be getting the plasma treatment by remote, which would be stronger than ordinary remote. Yes, I understand that is accurate. Can one have plasma far field and plasma remote going at the same time if I'm in another room without it being too much? That depends upon your body. If you put it to the test and you get a Herxheimer reaction, you will need to run Herxheimer reaction sets. That's what they're there for. But as far as would it be too much, maybe the question is, if that is your sole method, would that be too little? I'm assuming that that is not your sole set, and you want to use your plasma device, whether it's the Fanatron or the straight tube, instead of the remote. I don't really see anything wrong with that, but make sure you're still doing the overnight near field work with the plasma, because that seems to be the best way of doing it. Okay, David, you sent through your email in questions and answers. Can I ask you to make sure you put that in the chat so that you can receive your promotional code? Andrea says, so we need 3 generators. We cannot use generator X alone. You can use generator X alone if you're treating it as a 2-generator method, such as the contact 2 method. You could use, yes, you can use just generator X if you want. But on the other hand, if you've got the extra generators, then you've got more power, you've got more ability, and you can do more accurately, more reliably with it. But if you were to treat generator X as being 2 generators, which it is, you can then run remote and contact with it. Now, it's difficult logistically to put a boost unit in at the same time as having the cables for plasma. But if you can work out a way of doing it, then you can do your overnight remote at the same time as your overnight plasma. So yes, you can essentially do it, but it's just like easier for you to have your generator X for 2 generators and an extra XM generator for the 3rd generator, or indeed 2 extra XM generators, then you've got 4 generators essentially, and then you can do everything with it. And everything becomes a lot easier. Or indeed, just get even more than that, and maybe 3 XM generators. You can work it out, okay? Can you run the terrain on scalar or plasma rather than on contact? Yeah, yes you can. It is more powerful, as far as I can tell, to run terrain on contact than on remote. But if you run it on plasma, then that's more powerful still. I haven't yet tried doing terrain on plasma myself, but I know that contact clears me out a lot easier. On scalar, yes, I think you can do terrain on scalar. Should be no problem with that. Let me just call up the software and just have a quick look. Go back to presets, go back to the very beginning, click on the detox folder. Yeah, there is a plasma and scalar version of terrain within the detox folder in the software itself. Where can I find the protocol document? Okay, well, I'll take you to it. And just, can I click share screen when I've got the chat up there? Share screen. Okay, click share. Okay, well, here we have Spooky2. Let's go back. Click on cancer. Click on DB, which is what we've been dealing with today. And at the bottom there, it says Guide, Cancer, DB, Click Me PDF. And this is what it looks like. It's got all your information there. Okay? It is worthwhile having extra generators. Because as you can see, there's the healing sets, there's the Hoxima sets, there's overnight pain sets, and it's worthwhile having an extra XM generator on hand connected to your USB bar so that you can do those things. But this PDF will cover everything you need to know. It tells you what's in the kits and what you can use the kits for. It covers the entire recipe as to how to go through each and every single set, taking into account which particular method you're using, and it's there for you. If I wanted to go into biofeedback up here, generator X, and let's say I want to do a general biofeedback scan, I then don't click on programs, don't click on settings, I then click on control. And at the bottom of the screen here, where the bottom little more than a third of the screen is all the biofeedback controls. Okay, it says there biofeedback scan. And what I can do is, after I've overwritten generator, selected the generator I want to use, then initial step size got a percentage there, and I can shorten it, because at the bottom it says estimated duration 28 minutes and 35 seconds. I can sometimes have such a busy day, I don't have 28 minutes in my life. So I can click on that between the 0 and the 2.5, that's an initial step size percentage, and I remove the 0. So it says 0.25, not 0, and not 0.025. Now estimated duration is 3 minutes 22 seconds. Now the downside of what I've just done is it will, lower the resolution of the information that the scan is picking up. Because it's not getting as much information, it doesn't have enough time to be as precise. But on the other hand, I will still get my frequencies, the frequencies I require. And I can change the number of hits that I require to something that's more appropriate, to a larger number if I wanted to. Still just 3 minutes 22 seconds. I personally would tend to use angle and current. Now, if you're going to be very, very good, you're going to type something into the log name, such as whatever it is you're scanning for, and today's date, 0509/2020, so I can find it again. Okay? If you don't type anything in here, it'll be harder to find it when you're looking it up. And then I would just click on the scan button and let it run when it's set to current. Then afterwards, what the hell, I'll do it. It's 3 minutes 22 seconds. I can click my TENS pads and I can shove them on my abdomen and I can do a scan for you. Oh, bear with me a second whilst I just lift my shirt up and get some TENS pads on my body. Ooh. Ooh. The only bad part of this therapy is putting cold TENS pads on hot skin. Oh. Okay. Actually, we'll try and we'll make it even shorter. Should we make it even shorter just for this demonstration, shall we? Okay, 1 minute 58. This will be a current scan. So I'm just going to click scan. Now, just for your information, I've done biofeedback scans on myself before a lot, and I've had some very interesting experiences. When I first started doing Generator X scanning, I mean, I really wanted like the parasites to go. But it turned out the main thing that the scan was picking up was the yeast and the candida. And so when I ended up running the frequency set overnight on plasma, I woke up and I was bright scarlet, because I was having a reaction to the killed off yeast. as a result of me doing far field work with a plasma tube based upon, you know, what was being picked up. So it's picking up things which you don't think are the main problem, but which are a main problem, and which are essentially being sorted out. You can now see the graph is moving. I'm being scanned. This is a current scan. So this should just stop you from feeling quite so anxious about doing scans, basically. And very soon it will come to an end. On the top, it says current preset duration, 116. There we go. It's given me a couple of frequencies, but not many. Okay. So what I can do is I can save that. Remember, this is current. Okay. So we'll save that. And the name I've given it is there. Fine. 180 seconds dwell time. Fine. That'll be nice. Just move my face out of the way. Click save. Yeah, I'm sure of this. So I can then click on angle and current, click analyze. It's asking me, what do you want me to analyze? So I go down. You can double click on that. And now we have lots more numbers. Why do we have lots more numbers in that? Because instead of it just being on current, it's on angle and current. So I can then save that. I'll write AC afterwards for angle and current. So I'm then going to save that. Okay. Now I can go into shell empty presets, contacts. I'm trying to find, I go to killing. We're going to try and find the program itself. Programs, biofeedback. And then there's my two sets there. Click on that one, click on that one. So I can then remove duplicate frequencies on the bottom here. Okay? So if there were any duplicate, I mean the benefit of currents as well as angle and current to get a longer, better set. And I can then click on control, override generator, 3, and all the numbers come out there. Okay? So what you can do is you can get the benefit of current, then analyze it with angle, and then analyze it with angle and current, and put them all together in one big set. And you can then you can click start and you can run it if you're just running your own frequency set. Or you could use all of that as your scan. Are you with me? Okay. To get more accurate numbers, to get a more, a more precise, more well-rounded thing, so that you can then solve the problem with much greater ease. Does that make sense? All right. Is plasma still the gold standard compared to Scalar? Depends what you're talking about. All right. Plasma and Scalar are two very different tools. Plasma is a very good killer of pathogens. All right. Plasma, and if you want, if you're using Spooky Central, okay, you're using plasma tube with the ability to then add the Spooky Central contact as well, and that increases the killing power tremendously. I've had experiences which have proven that. Then you add the ultrasonic as well as the contact, and you have even more killing power. So that is really, really amazing. Scalar, I have had some pathogen killing experiences on it. But I find that Scalar is much more to do with the healing of the body. Now, even if you're running hunt and kill on Scalar, it won't necessarily get what you're after. Okay, not necessarily. It's a very different tool. My impression, because I've experienced it, is it's more to do with tissue healing rather than necessarily pathogen killing. So if you wanted to be like really amazing and really dedicated to your use of Spooky2, then a great thing to do would be to use both. Okay? So overnight, you're doing lots and lots and lots of killing using the wonders of plasma with the extra contact and the ultrasonic and all that, just like bam. Okay? Then during the day, you're running the remotes as part of the protocol as it describes. But also when you're downstairs watching TV and the rest of that, or when you're working at your computer, you have your scalar boxes either side of you and you run the scalar equivalent of the same thing. So you're still getting the energy coming from scalar. You're also getting the frequencies which are relevant to your problem, but it's going to work more on tissue healing. That's the way I see it. Now, there could be other people out there who see it in a different way. But if you were to incorporate all of that into your methods, the likelihood of there being success, I believe, it is my humble opinion of, could be higher. It's just something to think about. But plasma does what plasma does, scalar does what scalar does, and it depends upon what your needs are. All right, if the tumors have been removed, but there are cancer cells remaining, where is best to put the TENS pads? Well, hang on a second. If the tumor was, let's say, in your arm, and the actual thing has been removed, then presumably there would still be cells in your arm, wouldn't there? So you'd still want to scan either side of wherever the problem is. But if it's somewhere dispersed in your body, then you need to go for a whole body method. And so it's generator X either side of your abdomen, or using the pulse method, right wrist, left ankle. Okay, that's that. See you next time. You look after yourself. God bless everyone.